So I came home from lunch to find the truck in this condition. Thinking somebody might have done something to it, not really sure. Did have a low warning light on it. So I go and further inspect it. So I look at the tires. The tire tread, I mean. And then voila. There it is. And there's some other stuff on there. Rough wear and tear, not a big deal. The big deal is that little object. And so now I'm going to go ahead and start working on changing the tire so I can take it to the shop and have it plugged. Good as new, or semi-new. So now I have to take the jack out. So the bag with the wrenches and then the jack are right here. So I'll go ahead and pull those right out. Pretty easy, it's not secured to anything. This, you have to turn it to lower the jack, let it loose, and then pull it out. Not a big deal. Okay, for this car, or this truck, the spare tire was underneath the bed of the truck, but it was being held up by a chain and an assembly right there. You see right there, that splits to the inside of the tire. Turns sideways, then it catches the tire, and then you lift it up. And you have to twist the chain by using this. It's part of the jack assembly. Part of the crowbar type stuff that you have to use. You see it attached right there. Drop the tire and then pull it away. One of the things you got to think about with the spare tire is it pumped up enough to carry the weight of the truck. Sometimes the spare tire, if you don't pay attention, lose air. Luckily I have a air compressor, so we use our daily air compressor needs for the cars that we have. And of course there's the tire. Now the next thing I'm going to do is set up the jack to lift the vehicle up. One of the things you need to think about when you're doing this particular process is looking at the owner's manual, the instruction manual, and finding out exactly where the jack goes. A lot of people want to put it like on the edge of the vehicle, like right here in this area. But what this vehicle calls for is actually putting it underneath the axle point underneath the truck. So we're going to do that. Okay, now I'm going to put the jack assembly, the twist crowbar assembly in. And it seats pretty good. Goes in. I guess I got to turn it. There we go. So I had to angle it, make sure it's angled. Pop it in there, then go like that. And I just set down. And it's got a pretty good setup where you could turn it at a pretty good angle. So I want to angle it out this way, and I don't want to have it underneath the truck, because then I got to put the crowbar assembly on there and get it far away from the truck so I can spin it around. So it gives me two pieces to hook together to do that. And now that it's put together and fairly far away from the truck at a pretty good angle, you can see it's not under the truck. I'm taking it out far enough from the truck to give me a pretty good angle sweep. And okay, now underneath the truck, put the jack underneath and lifted it up by hand using Okay, so I've lifted the tire a little bit, but let's talk about some stuff that we want to think about when we're getting ready to change out the tire, the old tire with the spare tire, or new tire if you have one available. Most people don't. A lot of people have a tendency to do this. Okay, I'm gonna put my foot over here, and I'm gonna put my foot. Notice I'm not actually putting them under the car, the vehicle. So straddle like this, and then work on changing the tire. You want to refrain from doing that, because if something happens where the jack is compromised because it's a piece of metal, so it could break. Anything can break. So you want to make sure that you're clear of the hazards, the risks of the truck falling on you or snapping one of your legs off. So I like both my legs. I'm sure you guys do too. So you want to do that. And I think I did the cardinal sin of videoing upside down, but we'll fix that in post. Okay, so and then you take this particular tire, this wheel. This is the actual wheel assembly. So some of the mistakes that people make is assuming that this is a hubcap. Okay, a lot of people think it might be a hubcap, so they start trying to pry it apart with the crowbar. Okay, these lug nuts sticking out like that tell you that it's not the hubcap. This is actually the wheel, part of the wheel assembly. Okay, this is all one piece right in here. It goes right over here, becomes part of the wheel. This is the tire. This hard part right here that the tire goes around, the rim is called the wheel. Okay, now that you got it lifted up a little bit, you still want to keep it up a little bit because you need to loosen these lugs. Okay, so this particular setup for this truck, I have a special key lug. Okay, it's fitted, so it's supposed to make it hard to steal. But if somebody wants to steal your rims, they're going to break this lug and then pop the other ones off pretty easy. But it makes it a little bit harder for thievery to go on. So isn't that what our mission is, to make it a little bit harder for the thieves to do their work. Okay, so go ahead and set that up, and you want to loosen these guys up, alternating if possible or whatever. And you want some weight to be on the tire. You don't want to lift the tire and wheel assembly completely up so this kind of spins. Otherwise, there won't be anything to grab onto, no torque to grab onto to loosen these lugs. So you want a little bit of weight on the tire when you loosen those lugs. And once you get them all loose, then you can lift the tire up even more and then pop it off. Understanding that because this is flat, you have to lift the tire up even more to put the new spare back on, because it's going to have a lot of air pressure, full throw down here, and so you're going to need that space to do that work with. Okay, once you get the lug nuts loose, so you can spin them by hand, you don't want to take them completely off, so the tire stays on. As you continue to lift the tire and wheel assembly up, so you can clear it and remove it from the vehicle. Okay, now that I got the tire up, I can actually spin the tire around. I should be able to. Oh, the brakes are on, probably. Okay, so the tire's up. It's clear to the ground. Not gonna put my fingers down there. Not gonna break my own rules. Now I can take the lugs off and then remove the wheel and the tire. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, now here's the dilemma that I was talking about earlier. You've lifted the tire enough to change the flat tire, and then you go to put the tire that has more air in it, the appropriate amount of air, or close to it, onto your mount, your wheel mount. One of the things that some folks may find confusing, we'll talk about that. What side do you put it on? Because this is just a generic, used to be what they call donuts, but this looks actually like the actual same size tire that goes on this car, or this truck. One of the key takeaways is that the air valve always sticks out, so that you can put air in the tire in case you have to drive on this particular spare tire for more than a day or two. Okay, so that's a dead giveaway. So when you look at the tire and the wheel assembly, the valve points outside. All right, now that I've put most of the lug nuts on by hand, tighten them up by hand until they move the tire around, make sure it's not loose anymore. Seat these as much as I can by hand. And once I get them all done by hand, then I'm going to start like a rotation for these. So make sure you get a smooth, solid, even fit, secure. So I would start with this guy right here, tighten him up, then tighten this guy up right here, him, and just go around the horn opposites. Okay, so do it that way when you tighten these up. Okay, now you got them turned. What I did, and I'll just talk about it, I did quarter turn, quarter turn, quarter turn, quarter turn, quarter turn, quarter turn. Just went around the horn, and then of course you use your key. Just go ahead and pop that on there and just leave it on there for this process. And now that's done, I can go ahead and take the jack down. So I can go ahead and twist this the other way and remove all the assembly.